All right, traders, what's going on? This is Mike here. This is the watch list video for Wednesday, September 14th. This is the daily candle of the SPY. If you weren't around today in the chat room, or if you haven't watched the market in a while, I think the Dow was down almost 1,300 points. So it's kind of a nasty day. I think inflation numbers were higher than expected, which then gets people to the next step, I guess, is understood to be interest rates. Hikes, right, are going to keep going through, and maybe with more fervor. I don't know. So none of that looks good. So the market sold off, right? Hat tip to the room. A couple really nice calls. Ramesh gave the idea of pxmd. It was already on the overnight watch list, and there it was looking about like this when Ramesh gave the idea. This is the opening candle, the early high 428. Ramesh basically said, "Hey, what about over the high of day?" pxmd, recent high flyer, relative strength to the market, right? And so it breaks the high of day and really absolutely rips from 429 to 546. Pretty impressive heads up there by Ramesh. And then Ben L, starting to hear his name a lot, gave CMRA over 3. I don't know if it looked like this or it had started up on that next candle, but it was just flagging below 3 most of the morning after the gap up, sold off, came back up. And then look at the 3 break. I mean, it literally went to what, 428. That's a huge percentage move. And think about that. They're on a really, really ugly tape for the market. So a couple pretty neat calls there. Only, longs that worked even on a weak, very, very weak day. So anyway, hat tip to y'all. I'm going to talk about what I'm watching for tomorrow. ETNB gapped up. Massive volume. We're going to watch that for a potential follow through. NRBO, I think a reverse split. And literally, that's not an errant tick. It actually did that if you weren't there today. It went from 1733 to 6385 before settling down under 30. As I'm talking right now in after hours, it's at 2570. That's insane. But I am going to put it on a chart. PXMD. I wish this would have closed more strongly, but you could also argue that the market might have brought it back down. You have yesterday's high 547, today's high 546. So certainly over the 550 area is interesting. And this one's been strong enough intraday for a couple days that hey, I'm going to watch it. So we'll see. CMRA, talked about that one already. It's an interesting chart. Very strong volume. Maybe we get a follow through day. It's kind of a breakout over this $4 area. You probably have to get up closer to 450, but we'll see. It's definitely had some big volume spikes and kind of broke a 2-month, sort of a descending triangle. No, I don't know, flag pattern. I don't know the terminology, but anyway, sort of broke that today to the upside. I'd like to see it flag for a couple days, then it'd be more interesting, but definitely going to watch it tomorrow. Had great relative strength today. ARQQ had that pop yesterday. And again, in an ugly tape, had a nice strong, it held really well, right? So yesterday's high, 795. Today's high, 793. So that's certainly interesting over that 2-day high, right? Where am I? YOSH. We collectively, I looked at chat, I don't think anybody called it. We collectively missed an A+ setup back through 3 today. The early high was 305. It curled back up, had a seller on the tape at 3. Let me zoom in here on 2s. So there, actually the early high wasn't 305. I get that. Sometimes I get a misprint when I use 5-minute candles. So look at this zoomed in. The early high was 3. So we got a whole number 3, gap down, bounce play setup back through the whole number. Love that setup. And nobody spotted it. And it just absolutely ripped from 3, went to 366. I saw it like a couple seconds too late. Wasn't going to call it after it had already triggered. And I didn't get it either. Anyway, we're definitely going to watch that tomorrow. It held up pretty well. Fairly well in a weak tape. IFBD, just a relative strength play. Let me pan out a little bit, get a better view. I'm going to watch that one. NERV, relative strength, holding up pretty well. Recent high flyer. PGY, sort of a sleeper pick. Had this pop inside day. And again, in a weak tape, holding up. So sort of a sleeper pick. AEHR, relative strength today. APRN goes right back on bounce watch. I'd like to see an afternoon break out of a range. And then I'm even going to put Pixie back on watch. I said I wanted another day lower. Unfortunately, I had this pop and then came back down. I don't know, it makes me like it a little less. I would have preferred a solid red candle than a gap down tomorrow. But anyway, I'm going to put Pixie on watch too. And that's enough babbling for me. I'll see everybody in the chat room in the morning. Have a good night.